Have you ever wondered how the people of the Bible survived a siege, trapped inside city walls, food running out, no way to farm, no way to trade, and still walked away with their strength intact? Today, most of us have never faced real food scarcity, and yet somehow we are more exhausted, more inflamed, and more nutritionally depleted than people who lived 3,000 years ago with none of our conveniences. We have entire grocery aisles of processed bread, and almost none of it actually nourishes us the way real food is supposed to. The answer to both of these problems, ancient survival and modern depletion, comes from the exact same place, a single verse in the book of Ezekiel, where God doesn't just promise provision, He gives an actual recipe, 6 ingredients, combined in a very specific way, designed to keep a human body alive and strong when almost nothing else was available. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, I'm going to show you why modern nutritional science looked at this 3,000-year-old recipe and found something researchers still call nearly impossible to improve on with a single ingredient. This is Ezekiel's bread. Let's get into it. The verse that started it all. The passage is Ezekiel chapter 4, verse 9. God is speaking to the prophet Ezekiel during one of the darkest periods described in the Old Testament, a coming siege against Jerusalem, a time when food would become so scarce that survival itself was in question. And in the middle of that warning, God gives startlingly practical instructions. Take wheat and barley, beans and lentils, millet and spelt, put them in a storage jar, and use them to make bread for yourself. Read quickly. This sounds like a simple grocery list, but sit with it for a moment, and a strange detail emerges. This isn't one grain, it isn't two, it's 6 completely different plants, 3 grains and 2 legumes, combined into a single loaf. Nobody accidentally reaches for 6 different ingredients when they're desperate and running low on food. This was deliberate, and it turns out it was deliberate for a reason that nutritional science wouldn't be able to explain for another 3,000 years. Why 6 ingredients, not 1? Here's the problem with surviving on a single grain. Something ancient communities understood through hard experience long before anyone had the language of amino acids or micronutrients. No single plant food contains everything a human body needs to maintain muscle, repair tissue, and keep the immune system functioning. Every plant has gaps. Wheat and barley are excellent sources of energy and fiber, but on their own, they're low in a specific amino acid called lysine, one of the essential building blocks your body needs for protein and can't produce on its own. Beans and lentils, on the other hand, are rich in lysine, but they fall short in a different essential amino acid called methionine, which the grains happen to supply in abundance. Put those 4 together, and something remarkable happens. The gaps close. Wheat and barley cover what the legumes are missing. Beans and lentils cover what the grains are missing. And when researchers evaluate the finished loaf, they find a far more complete amino acid profile than any of the 4 ingredients could offer on their own, in some respects rivaling the completeness of protein from meat, using nothing but grain and legume. Then millet and spelt are added on top of that foundation, rounding out the mineral and vitamin profile even further, and creating a slow-digesting carbohydrate structure that releases energy gradually instead of in a spike and crash pattern. This wasn't guesswork. Somebody, generations before this instruction was ever written down, had already noticed which foods kept people strong when eaten together, and which combinations left them weak. Ezekiel's bread is that accumulated observation, handed down as a formula. What this actually does inside your body. Let's slow down and go ingredient by ingredient, because each one is pulling its own weight. Barley is exceptionally rich in a soluble fiber called beta-glucan. As it moves through your digestive tract, beta-glucan slows the release of sugar into your bloodstream and binds to cholesterol, helping carry it out of the body before it has a chance to build up in your arteries. For anyone dealing with the early signs of blood sugar instability, this single compound matters enormously. Lentils and beans bring more than just protein. They're dense in fiber that feeds the beneficial bacteria living in your gut. And a growing body of research now directly connects a healthy, well-fed gut microbiome to lower levels of inflammation throughout the entire body, not just the digestive tract. They also supply iron and molybdenum, two minerals essential for enzyme function and for carrying oxygen efficiently to tired muscles. Millet has one of the lowest glycemic responses of any grain that's ever been studied, meaning it raises blood sugar slowly and gently, rather than sending it climbing. And spelt, an ancient, largely unaltered cousin of modern wheat, has a different protein structure that many people find noticeably easier to digest, along with higher concentrations of specific B vitamins your cells need to convert food into usable energy. Individually, these are 6 good foods, combined into a single loaf. The way Ezekiel was instructed to make it, they become something closer to a complete nutritional system. Protein, slow-burning carbohydrates, fiber, and minerals, all delivered together in one dense, unassuming piece of bread. Why this matters right now, not just back then. Here's what makes this recipe more relevant today than it's ever been. This bread was designed for a body under stress, a body facing scarcity, exhaustion, and the threat of collapse. And whether we're facing an actual siege or not, a huge number of us are walking around with bodies under a very similar kind of stress. Chronic inflammation, blood sugar swings, protein that isn't being absorbed efficiently, energy that crashes by mid-afternoon. Modern white bread offers almost none of what this loaf provides. It's stripped of fiber, spikes blood sugar quickly, and delivers essentially no complete protein on its own. Ezekiel's bread does the opposite of everything modern processed bread does, and it was designed that way 3,000 years before anyone diagnosed insulin resistance or ran a clinical trial on gut inflammation. This is the part that should genuinely stop you for a second. This recipe wasn't written by a nutritionist. It wasn't developed in a lab. It was given, in scripture, as an instruction for survival, and it happens to align almost perfectly with what modern science now considers one of the most complete plant-based food combinations available. Let me tell you about a woman named Carol. Carol is 62, and for the past few years she'd noticed the same thing so many of us start to notice past 50. Energy that used to carry her through the whole day now gave out by 2 in the afternoon. Her joints ached more on cold mornings. She'd tried protein shakes, she'd tried cutting carbs entirely, and neither one made her feel like herself again. A friend from her church sent her this exact recipe, the one straight out of Ezekiel, half as a joke about biblical dieting. Carol baked her first loaf skeptically. Dense, a little coarse, nothing like the bread she was used to. But she kept making it. 1 loaf a week, a slice or 2 with her lunch instead of the usual white bread. 6 weeks in, she told her daughter something had shifted. The 2 o'clock crash wasn't hitting the way it used to. She was gardening longer into the afternoon, without needing to sit down and rest. Nothing dramatic, nothing overnight. Just a slow, steady return of the kind of stamina she hadn't felt in years. Carol didn't know anything about lysine or beta-glucan when she started. She just knew her body felt different eating something dense and whole, instead of something soft and stripped of everything useful. That's the same discovery people were making 3,000 years ago, long before anyone had a word for amino acids at all. If you're starting to see why this channel takes ancient recipes seriously, hit like and subscribe right now. Because we're building this out one bread at a time. 12 recipes from scripture, each one broken down the same way. Next up in the series is sourdough of the patriarchs, the fermented bread nearly every household in the ancient world ate daily. And what it does to your gut might surprise you even more than this one. Now, let's build the loaf.
A. The recipe: Ezekiel's bread, the covenant loaf for crisis and survival.
Scripture: Ezekiel 4:9, loaf 4 cup. Ingredients: 1/3 cup whole wheat flour, 1/3 cup barley flour, 1/3 cup ground lentils, 1/3 cup ground beans, 1/3 cup millet, 1/3 cup spelt flour, water, as needed. Optional, pinch of natural salt. Instructions: 1. Combine all dry ingredients in a large mixing bowl until evenly distributed. 2. Add water gradually, kneading by hand until a firm, dense dough forms. It should hold together but not feel sticky. 3. Shape the dough into a low, compact loaf on a lightly floured surface. 4. Bake low and slow at 325 degrees Fahrenheit. 165 degrees Celsius, until fully cooked through, roughly 45 to 55 minutes, until the crust is deep golden and firm. 5. Allow to cool slightly before slicing. This is a dense bread. Give it time to rest so it doesn't crumble. Wyatt Heal's combining grains and legumes creates a complete amino acid profile neither food group provides alone. Lentils and beans supply lysine, while the grains supply methionine. Paired with barley's cholesterol-binding beta-glucan and millet's low glycemic response, this loaf delivers slow, steady energy and more efficient protein absorption, making it especially valuable for stabilizing blood sugar and supporting muscle maintenance. God gave this exact recipe to Ezekiel as sustenance for a time of siege. Not a random mix, but a deliberate formula for survival when food was scarce. 3,000 years later, science confirms it was never just symbolic, it was precise. A quick note if you try this at home, this bread is meant to be dense and filling, not light and fluffy like a dinner roll. A little goes a long way, and that's exactly the point. It was never designed to be eaten in large quantities. It was designed to sustain a body on very little. 6 ingredients. 1 instruction, buried in a chapter most people skip past without a second thought, and yet it holds up against everything modern nutritional science has learned about complete protein, blood sugar stability, and gut health. This is the pattern we're going to keep finding throughout this series. Ancient wisdom, hiding in plain sight, waiting for science to finally catch up and explain what generations of people already knew from experience. If this bread surprised you, let me know in the comments. And if you want the full 12-part series delivered to you one recipe at a time, subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss Sourdough of the Patriarchs coming next.